Hey everybody, I am here live with the Outsiders minus Connor. Connor is with his grandmother and Clayton, who is somewhere else.
He's at a piano lesson.
He's at a piano lesson. So in case you guys haven't heard, this Sunday these guys are going to be leading worship for us, and they're very excited. It's been a little while since they've been able to worship or to have a worship session. So I'm really glad to get to see them.
In front of people,
in front of people, yeah, they've been doing it along, in their house like everybody else has. So,
worship in different ways.
I'm glad that they're here today, and we're going to chat about some stuff. In case you don't know, the Outsiders are a praise band, a worship band. How long have you guys been around for?
3 years. Two, almost 3 years.
Bunches.
Almost 3 years. Completely comprised of youth. They're very talented, and they have, hopefully, if the world goes back to normal, they have some stuff that's coming up they're going to be able to do.
Yeah,
fingers crossed. They've been asked to play at Refuge, a United Methodist Conference event. It happens in November. So if November is great, then they'll be really glad to be there both of those weekends. So some stuff I wanted to ask before we get into the nitty-gritty of being teenagers during this time. Why don't you just tell them kind of about yourselves, maybe how you guys came about. Some people don't know. Some people don't know how the Outsiders came about. How did it happen?
Okay, so this goes back all the way to 8th grade.
Talk loud, by the way.
Hello? Can you hear me? Yeah, you can't tell, but I'm smiling under the mask.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah. This goes back all the way to middle of 8th grade year, so we're getting ready for this big high school change, and I'm saying there's a lot of different kids. This youth group, it wasn't that good. It was more of like a social gathering. So this is where people came to meet other people, and we were all just from different churches. The Outsiders. We were outsiders here, and we came and we met each other. And they were like, hey, we need someone to play guitar. And Clay was playing guitar. And then I saw him up there playing guitar. And, I could play the drums. I was like, why am I not up there, worshiping alongside my brother? And so, I talked to the guy that was in charge at the time. And, I started playing drums. And he was up there playing the keys. And then, people started encouraging us. They were like, y'all are a group. Y'all sound really good together. Come up with a name, form a band. And we were like, what's a good name for us? We're kind of just outsiders.
That's not true. It was Houston, and he said,
oh yeah, it was Houston.
It was Houston's fault.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
What do you come up with the name?
Well, I'll tell you, when I first met you guys, one of my favorite songs was "The Outsiders" by Need to Breathe.
Yeah, we played that.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Oh,
I bet you were
played that
requested.
one numerous
It's a really good song.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys have done all kinds of great stuff, especially even with our church. They've done great stuff with us. So one thing I want to ask. So you guys are all students. Does your whole group all go to the same school?
Yeah, we all go to Maumelle.
Maumelle High School. And I remember the day that everything shut down. It was a Thursday.
Yeah.
And I have not seen the three of you in person at least since then.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly before then. What was it like? What were your thoughts initially when you found out that you were going to have a really long AMI day?
First I was like, sweet, 1 week before spring break, be done in a few weeks, be all good, back to school. But then it's like, it's still going on. Like, we lost the whole end of our junior year.
Yeah.
And then it could be our senior year too. Could be completely different. So it's kind of just crazy right now.
We're praying that it does not dig into our senior year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with what Ben said. I was just like, yeah, it's a week before spring break. I guess we just get an extended spring break, and we'll just go back to school afterwards. But like you said, it's just continues.
I don't think we expected it to be this long.
Yeah, that was my initial thought too. In fact, I remember at the time I was going to go on a cruise for spring break, and the attitude change has just been astronomical because at the time people were saying, well, how old are you? 26? Go on your cruise. And now here we are in this whole other world. So there was a moment, what you're saying, there's a moment where, because we were unsure how long this was going to last, there was a moment where you came to that realization that it was going to be the whole school year.
Yeah.
What was that like? Well, how did your emotion change? Were you bummed at that point that it was going to be the whole year? Like, was there a point where, I guess what I'm asking is there a point where you actually were going to miss school and this was no longer fun?
I feel like a few times, like 10 o'clock in the morning, you got nothing to do. Because normally we wake up at 8 and start our day, and we have something to do, like scheduled every hour, every day. But now it's just like we're wasting so much time in our days, unless we have like jobs still, which are still hard to go to because everything's so different. But it's kind of just
Yeah,
wild.
we went from like everything, most of it, everything in our lives being scheduled and, you know, all that to just all this free time. So it was kind of weird to get used to.
Mm-hmm. And he means free time, but like free time in you know, you're a high schooler. You wanna, hey, let's meet up with this group of friends. Let's meet up with the boys. Let's jam. Let's write some music. You know, and it's like, no, you can't. You can't go. You can't. Like the one thing that you want to do when you have free time when you're a high schooler, you can't. So can't go hang out with your friends. Can't go.
It's like under any other circumstance, we get out like 8 weeks early from school. It's like the best thing ever. We got a great summer headed for us, but it's just not. It's not really summer, you know.
It's restricted.
Exactly. You can barely go inside restaurants. I mean, it's different.
Which now things are like starting to kind of open up, but you know the world still doesn't look. Oh, I should mention these two have a mask on. You know, we're all spread out, but these two have a mask on because you guys want to tell kind of what y'all have had. I mean, really, because I talked to your mom the other day. Y'all have had a struggle with this, but you know what? Do you want to start? It's your fault, Clay.
Yeah. Well, I got a fever a couple of weeks, 2 weeks ago. I started running a fever, and my mom was worried that I could potentially have corona, so she got me tested, and I had to be quarantined for a couple of days.
Negative.
The test came back negative, so that's good. But I was still sick, and I was feeling weak, and some time went on, and so we went, and I was still sick, so we went to the doctor, and it turned out that I had mono. So I had to stay at home and rest for a while, and now I'm better. Now I'm back to.
And you're feeling good.
Yeah.
And he's been released by the doctor and all that. So, but we're taking precautions.
We're feeling good, 100% healthy. Just we're being careful.
Yeah.
Don't be too careful.
So this summer is unlike any other summer. You know, I also say, as an adult who's a youth leader, there are several things that, I mean, we're not terribly far apart in age. We're like 10-year difference. There are many things that you guys go through that people my age, you know, we don't. Yeah. And this is one of those things, like, I can't imagine going to school and going through the roller coaster you guys went through. And potentially might go through again, because we don't know if this is going to have like a resurgence the next year. But for this summer, there are a lot of things that have been either turned into something online or have been just outright canceled. What do you guys think that this summer looks like for y'all? Y'all have plans or?
Honestly, like I still have my job. It's an outdoor job.
Yeah.
So everything goes on as normal. So I'm just gonna be working a lot this summer, and then hopefully just grinding on the guitar, getting better every day.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's a great time to practice and hone your skills.
Yeah.
And
definitely a lot of time.
Something I've noticed about bands on YouTube, like Dave Barnes and Ben Rector, have been in their homes, just in their studios, just making music. So it's time to do that. One thing I wanted to ask, we talked about a bunch of bummers, and we're entering into a bummer-free zone right now. So no bummers. What are what's some positive things that have come out of this, or maybe some ways you guys have seen God through this time of isolation?
Well, I'd like to start off with a non-bummer.
Okay.
We got together, and we were allowed to get together in Connor's garage, and we've been to Ben's garage, and we've been playing together and just jamming, and songwriting a couple times, and that was a blessing for me. Anyways, I enjoyed that a lot, and it was funny because I think some other people did too. He lives on a golf course, right by a golf course. So there's a golf cart kind of right next to his house, and so as the golfers would drive by, they hear our music, and they woo, give a little cheer.
Yeah, a little bit of some
Yeah,
positive reinforcement.
encouragement. Yeah, maybe we should have put a tip jar.
What are some other good things that you guys have seen?
I think for me personally, it's been a time to slow down because I think there's a lot that goes on. Normal, if everything was normal, a lot would be going on right now. We'd be finishing up school. I'd have track meets and we'd be doing a lot of stuff with the band. I was looking forward to all that, and it's crazy, but I always look forward to it. And so I think this, all this is just, we can't do any of that, so we just have to kind of slow down and just take the time. So I think especially this is a time to reconnect with God and just make sure my relationship with Him is good. So.
And what I've been telling people kind of as a joke, but kind of not, is that I feel like our whole society was just in need of a timeout.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is in no way it's not like God causes bad things to happen to people, but at the same time I have felt like He's used this in such a great way we needed a timeout. We needed a chance to be not just isolated, but in one way I feel like we've all been connected in a different way.
Yeah.
People have been reaching out to each other in a way that they normally wouldn't. I've been, I'll get a phone call from somebody who normally would just expect to see me at some point and talk to me then, but now we're starting to, on purpose, reach out, communicate with people, and love on them. And, people coming by on a golf cart and saying, woo, they feel the support is needed. And it goes both ways, and so that's something that I've noticed, and so it's been great. Is there anything else that you guys want to say just about, because really, I've been on a lot of Facebook Lives, our whole staff has been, and one thing we're wanting to do is we're wanting to see the perspective of others, and as a youth minister I was like, I don't want to be the one telling the world what it's like. I want the students to kind of, because they're going through it, on their own perspective of it. So is there anything else about the aspect of a quarantine junior spring semester that you think people maybe don't realize?
Oh, I got one.
Yeah.
So it has to do with mental health.
Yeah.
So it's teenagers are more prone to mental health problems because of all the changing hormones and whatnot. I just think it's good that I just think it's good to make sure if you're a parent, if you have kids, to make sure that they're okay, tell them you love them, and if you're a kid like us, in high school, to reach out to all your friends, everyone make sure they're doing all right in quarantine. Even if it's someone that you barely talk to and you just worked with a project on, for a semester or whatever. Or had a class with them for a semester, you could be like, how you doing? You okay? Because you never know if they need it or not. So
yeah,
mental health is serious in this time.
It is, and one thing I would encourage, I'd like to shout out to Amy Shores. She works with Methodist Family Health with students, and she has been doing mental health seminars, and she's been sharing posts about things to look out for. But yes, as Will said, this is a time to really focus on that and make sure that that's, that you're aware of what can happen when you are in quarantine for an experience, a long period of time. So.
Yep, in isolation with your thoughts.
In isolation with your thoughts. Anything else, you guys? Nope.
Let's play some music.
Let's play some music. All right, so you can catch us this Sunday. Oh yes, that's a good idea. All right, so what I like to do, people may not know what instrument you guys play and your name, so I'm going to start with Riley, who's in his pillow fort over here. I want each of you to tell me your name, your full name, and I want you to tell me what instrument or instruments you primarily play in the Outsiders.
I'm Riley Williamson and I play piano.
He plays piano.
Okay, I'm Clay. I mainly play guitar. I also do backup vocals and occasionally trombone when needed.
I'm Ben. I play guitar and sing.
Lead vocals.
Yeah.
I'm Will, and I'm the drummer.
And Connor, if he was here, would say.
I'm Connor, and I self-taught myself bass.
So Connor played bass, and you'll see him on Sunday. 10 a.m. on Sunday, we're going to be leading worship, and it's Memorial Day weekend. We're going to be thanking those who have served in our armed forces, and we're going to be worshiping the God that never changes and the God that loves us all. So I'm excited about it. Y'all are excited about it. I'm excited to get to see them face to face finally. Thank you guys so much for coming and doing this for me. It's a big deal.
Oh, thank you for inviting us.
Yeah.
You know we want to be here. We want to get out.
Yeah, I know you do. These kids are they're awesome and they love worshiping God and they just have they've just really wanted to do this for 2 months now. So thank you guys. We'll get back with you again next week, next Thursday at 3. Y'all have a blessed day.